Go. Atosmi loke vedecha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Pratita Purushottamaha. Yasmat ksharam atitoham. Aksharada pichotamaha. Atosmi loke vedecha. Pratita Purushottamaha. Yasmat ksharam atitoham. Aksharada pichotamaha. Atosmi loke vedecha. Pratita Purushottamaha.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Okay, Mataji's.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Yasmat ksharam atitoham.
Aksharat apichotamaha.
Aksharada pichotamaha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Atosmi loke vedecha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Pratita Purushottamaha.
Yasmat.
Yasmat.
Because. Sharam. To the fallible.
To the fallen.
Atitaha.
Atitaha.
Transcendental.
Transcendental.
Aham. I am. Aksharat.
Aksharat.
Beyond the infallible.
Beyond
Api. Also. Cha. And. Uttamaha. The best. Ataha. Therefore. Asmi. I am. Loke. In the world. Vede. In the Vedic literature. Cha. And. Pratitaha. Celebrated. Purusha Uttamaha. As the Supreme Personality. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as the Supreme Person. Purport. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, neither the conditioned soul nor the liberated soul. He is therefore the greatest of personalities. Now, it is clear here that the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are individuals. The difference is that the living entities, either in the conditioned state or in the liberated state, cannot surpass in quantities and inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is incorrect to think of the Supreme Lord and the living entities as being on the same level or equal in all respects. There is always the question of superiority and inferiority between their personalities. The word Uttama is very significant. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Loke signifies in the Paurusha Agama, the Smriti scriptures. As confirmed in the Niruktis dictionary, Loke Tetrato Nena, the purpose of the Vedas is explained by the Smriti scriptures. The Supreme Lord, in his localized aspect of Paramatma, is also described in the Vedas themselves. The following verse appears in the Vedas. Chandogya Upanishad, age 12:3. Avadesha Samprasados, Mach Charirat Samudaya, Param Jyoti Rupam Sampadiya Svena Rupena Jinish Padyate Sautama Pujusha. The super soul comes out of the body, enters the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Then in his form, he remains in his spiritual identity. The Supreme is called the Supreme Personality. This means that the Supreme Personality is exhibiting and diffusing his spiritual effulgence, which is the ultimate illumination. That Supreme Personality also has the localized aspect as Paramatma. By incarnating himself as the son of Satyavati and Parashara, he explains the very knowledge as Vyasadeva. Hare Krišna, Krishna, Karishma, Deva, Vivaranta, Swami, Namina, Namaste, Saraswati, Deve, Goravani, Prajarina, Visha, Shashna, Vadi, Vashi, Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu, Nityananda, Shri Gadadara, Shivasati, Gora, Bhakta, Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. In verse 16, Krishna is speaking about two types of living entities. He is speaking about the fallible and the infallible. He is speaking about the eternally conditioned entities which are in the material world, and is speaking about the eternally liberated entities which are in the spiritual world. Then after Krishna in the text 17, which is before, is adding another category. He's adding the super soul. He says, this is none of these two. And then he's in this verse, he's adding even more. He's adding the Supreme Person, which is even higher category. Sometimes people, when you think of the person, he thinks, oh, this person must be like all the other persons. I must be certain. We have a friend, it's inconceivable for him to say that Krishna is a person. okay, but I understand, but it's not a person, it's not a person. Right? It's hard for us to understand what it means to be a Supreme Person. But that's what the Shastras say. So it's clear that there's a Supreme Person, and which is the same as in quality, but never same in quantity. So you can never put an equal between the individual person and the Supreme Person, which is there's this idea that you can become God. You do some meditation and you can become God. And there's here in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, no, you can't, because there's different categories. There's this living entities and there's God. So you cannot become, if you're not God already, because He's already eternal. So, and of course, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the Supreme Person is the source of Paramatma and is the source of impersonal Brahman. And in the last phrase of the purport, Srila Prabhupada chooses to explained something which, for me, when I read the purport, I was like, what does this have to do? Speaks about how Krishna incarnates the Srila Vyasadeva to give this knowledge. Okay. Good. And this is very interesting because if 2 verses after this verse, Krishna says this is very confidential knowledge, very confidential. And Krishna says in many places throughout the Bhagavad-gita that this is very confidential knowledge. And it's really interesting how to understand that this is confidential. And when you think of something confidential, it's like something that it's a secret, like nobody has a secret somewhere in a dungeon. There's this knowledge, and you cannot go there because there's 10,000 guards and so on, and you have to do that and that to get to this knowledge. But actually, that's different. This is this knowledge in the Bhagavad-gita. Is different types of secret, of confidential. It's not secret. It's available to everyone, but everyone will choose. The difference which is made if people choose to accept this knowledge or not. There's not this knowledge is available. You go in a shop and you can buy a Bhagavad-gita. It's very practical. You go on the street and we offer a Bhagavad-gita to anyone. Hey, hi, here's a book. And then, so this knowledge is which is so confidential, and is quite available for everyone. But everyone has the free will, and they choose, I want this, I want to accept this knowledge or not. So it's a strange type of confidential knowledge. Like, you have it here, and it's still confidential. And even if you read it, it's still confidential. Oh my God, how does it work? Anyway, because everyone has free will, and we choose if you accept this confidential knowledge or not. And then it goes even further, that Krishna and Srila Vyasadeva, they come, they present this knowledge, and then devotees are even more merciful. And they are like, you want this knowledge? No. Okay, we'll find some way. It was like, you don't want it? No, I don't want it. Okay. No, don't worry. I will find some way. We'll take you somehow into Krishna consciousness. So actually, that's what devotees are doing most of the times. I don't remember exactly the words, but Srila Prabhupada asked one time his disciples, is the spiritual master tricky or something like this? I don't remember the word he used. I said, no, Srila Prabhupada, your spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada comes and asks you, is the spiritual master tricky? No, very, very serious, the spiritual master. And he's asking them 3 times, is the spiritual master tricky? And no, Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada is smiling and said, how come it's not tricky? Because none of you were planning to become Krishna conscious. But somehow, I got you. I tricked you somehow. So that's the duty of the devotees. Somehow to trick people into Krishna consciousness. And there's this. I was searching for this verse, which is a bit famous by Srila Goswami, because Srila Goswami says how you make someone Krishna conscious, and then he doesn't give some specific ingredients. Okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, this formula. And there's this verse, and I found, I was searching for it to find the exact translation, and then I wanted this class from Srila Prabhupada. I found this part which is very, very interesting for me. Srila Prabhupada says, This is Krishna consciousness movement. Somehow or other, you increase your attachment for Krishna. Some way or another. Then he quotes this verse from bhakti-joga hare-rama hare-krishna-ljubljana. This is Rupa Goswami's instruction. Somehow or other, you become attached to Krishna. Then your life is successful. So this Krishna consciousness movement is trying to induce people how to become attached to Krishna. That is bhakti-yoga. Then, within Nisheda, there are so many rules and regulations for bhakti-yoga. Yes, there are. Rupa Goswami says, Sarva vidi Nisheda sur etayor eva kinkara. Some way or other, if you become attached to Krishna, then all the vidis and regulative principles and rules and regulations, they will act as your servant. They will automatically. Because as soon as you become attached to Krishna, Krishna said, Shibram Bhavati Dharma. Then he quotes this verse from Bhagavad Gita and he says, very soon. So the trick, the idea is, Srila Prabhupada doesn't give a formula, like this formula, you put 10% this, 20% this. He says, somehow or other you become Krishna consciousness. And then rules and regulation, yes, there's so many rules and regulation, yes, they are important, but they will follow. The important thing is how to become somehow attached to Krishna. In the same mode, Srila Vyasadeva is composing so much Vedic literature. So much Vedic literature is not, it's millions of verses and hundreds of millions, I don't know exactly. Quite a lot. And in which he's saying the same thing. Like Krishna here is saying, okay, there's the individual soul, there's Paramatma, and there's Bhagavan. And if you understand this, then you do some devotional service. It's simple, isn't it? In every part of the Bhagavad Gita is saying the same thing. Differently. With different words, but just saying the same thing. So similar, all this Vedic literature, they're trying from different angles how to make people come closer to Krishna. So that's you want to eat meat? No problem. Of course you can eat meat. More or less encouraging. And then they say, yes, but just chant Hare Krishna. I'm just just do these things while you eat meat. No problem. No, just do something. Add some Krishna consciousness to whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter. Like Srila Prabhupada said at some point about a drunkard. I don't know if he said to him or about him that yes, it's alright to drink wine, but you should think that Krishna is the taste of wine. So if you hear this, like the founder Acharya, you're thinking, oh, the founder Acharya, how does it? No, Srila Prabhupada is devising this, like, okay, because Srila Prabhupada understands very well what's the position of this person in front of him, and what he can ask from him, and what he cannot ask from him. It's very, very clear, like, of course, Srila Prabhupada is not saying, okay, then, of course, don't drink just one glass, drink 5. No, of course, Srila Prabhupada, but that's a way in how you present things, how you bring people to that platform. Mostly people are here, you want to bring them here. How do you bring them from here to here? Very, very interesting. You have to be very... so the idea is that some things can be too much for some people. And the main point is not so much rules and regulations. The main point is to become more attached to Krishna, to make some advancement in some way or another. Yeah, and then the rules and regulations, they'll come after you get attached to Krishna. then Srila Prabhupada said in that class automatically. And it's usually not automatically, but it's easier. Because also sometimes we get in this mood that we are so attached to rules and regulations, you know, like you can wake up at 2 in the morning and chant all your rounds before Mangala, which is amazing, you know. It's very good if you can do it. But this doesn't guarantee anything. Rules and regulations don't guarantee, okay, I woke up before Mangala, Krishna will come and maybe not. Sometimes you can see people wake up at 2 for some 1 week, 2 weeks, and then they disappear. Like, what is this guy? he was a pure devotee 2 weeks ago, but now where is he? So, like, where is he? You know, like. So it's and it's also not. This is not about karma mimamsa. This philosophy. Okay, I'm doing this, and then Krishna is obliged to reciprocate because I'm such a pure devotee. I woke up at 2 o'clock and I chanted my rounds before Mangala. Wow, Jai! No, Krishna is not obliged. No, sometimes he will just help us somehow ruin our sadhana just to make us more humble, that we're like maybe praying, okay, maybe I need Krishna also. Ah, okay. So then you'll be like, wake up at 5 and barely make it for Mangala. But you are in more prayerful mood. You're like, oh, Krishna, I actually need some help this time. And, okay, now we're talking. Now we can have a relationship. Now we can speak something. Anyway, so the idea is rules and regulations. They are of course useful. You know, there's Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about niyamagraha, some 6 things that destroy devotional service, and one of them is called niyamagraha. And then there's 2 readings of this niyamagraha, which means one of them is that you don't care about the rules. And the other is that so this is one extreme, and the other is you're just all about rules, and you don't understand principles behind. So like, okay, I have to do this. Yes, but so yeah, that's the rules and regulations. So the idea is that we should not fall into this trap of being rules and regulation. You know, like rules and regulation are important, and we should follow this, but we should understand why and how, and not be fanatic about it. And we can see that Srila Vyasadeva is presenting Vedic knowledge from so many different angles. You know, like so many things said in so many different ways. And we should be aware of that, because Krishna consciousness is not one size fits all. There's in Romania there's this book which I never read, but I heard the title. It's called Bed of Proust. And this guy was some guy who I read, because it was mandatory somehow. So I read the Samba. I should do it. And this guy had a bed, and everyone would have to fit on his bed. And if someone was too tall, he would cut a bit from the legs. And if someone was too short, he would use a hammer and prolong their body somehow. Because everyone should have should fit into his bed. This is my bed, and everyone should be like this. This is a perfect world. So yeah, there's Krishna consciousness is not like that. Krishna consciousness is not one size fits all. Krishna consciousness means that everyone is different, And as His Holiness Praladananda Swami says, different folks, different strokes. Different people, different positions, different styles of Krishna consciousness, different ways to engage in Krishna consciousness. So that's what makes preaching very artistic somehow. And it's not we have this formula. Okay, welcome. From today, you're not eating meat anymore. You're not drinking alcohol. You're not stop smoking. All this. Okay, got it? Okay, perfect. It's not like that. It's always thinking about how to make the person in front of you make some advancement, and what can they accept, and what can they not accept, and what's realistic. Like in this case, Srila Prabhupada said, yes, you can drink wine because he's gonna do it anyway. And in some way he said, okay, but you just add some Krishna in some way in your life, and somehow you get purified. And there's always people you meet, and this also applies for us. I mean, maybe not with eating meat and drinking wine and so on. Probably now we're devotees, we're following some principles, but with other things, it applies. Some things are really easy to accept, really easy to do, you know, and some things, you know, like it's like just don't ask that, you know. And we should know when we try to help people, we should understand what's the things that they can do and what's the things that they cannot do. If something they cannot do now, just drop it, just leave it, just later, you know, just help them somehow, in some way, to become more Krishna conscious and so on. Because some people are attracted to some things, or everyone will be attracted to take some prasad. That's a classical example. But also other things, you know, like some people will be attracted to chanting. For some people, to become vegetarian is like, oh my God. And for some people, it's like, oh, okay, well, I have to become vegetarian. Yeah, okay, whatever. What do I eat? Oh, rice and some meat. Okay, from tomorrow, no problem. So you have to see where is everyone, and also there's not on this side on this topic of it's not one size fits all. Like you have examples. If you're a bit fanatic, you have to say, okay, I have this varna system, and this new guy comes to the temple, and he is like. You're like, okay, are you grihasta or are you brahmachari? Welcome. You just started chanting, you're chanting one round of Hare Krishna since yesterday, so we have to clarify, are you grihasta or a brahmachari? Come on. And then, you know, that's a clear dilemma. Okay, that's have to be either, and because this varnashrama, of course, this varnashrama is very nice, but who is coming from a background where he applied varnashrama system in the past, you know, like you come to Krishna consciousness at 35, you have a girlfriend or not, you know, like you have a job or not, you can move in the temple to get some brahmachari training or not. Now there's very, very complicated situation, you know, like it's not just like, okay, now you have to decide, okay, you're working here, or you're working, or you're moving in the temple. And in many cases, it's very complex, and in many cases, there's many shades of gray. It's not black and white, you know, like, I always, when I first heard of these cases, I thought this is brilliant, you know, like, we have Domen, our friend. He's, we don't know what he is. It's, he comes to the temple 3 days per week, 3-4 days every week. And 4 days, 3 days is brahmachari. And then he goes home and then he's a grihasta. Takes care of his child and he has his job and his... So many times the solution is like that and you're like, come on, but this is not ready. But whatever, you know. So the idea is, if you fall into this idea of rules and regulation, you might think it has to be black or white. But many times, actually the principle behind Varnashrama, the most important principle of Varnashrama, is that you have to, at least how you can apply it in our cases, is that you have to position yourself in a way that you can become more Krishna conscious. That's the principle. And that's why there's some division, but in practical situations there are devotees who don't live in the temple and are not married. They live, they have a job and they do some service in the temple. There's so many, different. And also these kind of decisions, they are quite important and they are quite hard to take. So should I marry or should I not get married? And many times you have to take them in a state of consciousness where you purify a bit. When I came to Krishna consciousness, I was going to the temple and then I was thinking, I was looking around, it's like, oh, this Mataji came 2 times for Sunday feast. This looks very spiritual. Anyway, so I was thinking, okay, I would like to enjoy, but after some time practicing, I realized, okay, this is really not the direction for me, might be for someone else. Anyway, so the idea in many cases you have to get to purify yourself a bit and then take such decisions. And then you can take this decision in a state of mind where you're a bit balanced, you're not just like, oh, nice, okay, but that's not how you make decisions. Anyway, yeah, that's, so this is not like police academy test. This, there's this joke in Romania. They have this test on the police academy. They have this thing with holes in it, and they have this square and this round thing and this triangle. And it's very complicated test. You have to put the triangle to the triangle hole, and then you have to put the square to the square hole, and you have to put the round thing to the round hole. And like, okay, very, very complicated. And apparently it's, like they say that policemen are not very intelligent. So after the test, they found out that 5% of the policemen are intelligent, and 5% are powerful. They put the round thing to the square thing somehow. so that's the idea. As Chandrabauli Swami gave this example that in New Vrindavan there was this guy who came and he had a PhD, and the authorities there. In the beginning, many interesting things happened in ISKCON. Also, sometimes. So the authorities looked at him and said, "Oh, PhD. Okay, this means pothole digger." So they wanted to build a fence and they needed someone to dig some holes. So PhD for us comes from pothole digger. So anyways, that's a complex topic. But the idea is we should understand that Krishna consciousness is not something, not one size fits all, and we should use our intelligence how to engage ourselves and others, and how to put ourselves in the position where we can, and others in a position how of making further advancement in Krishna consciousness, whatever that is. And this requires, like some, there's no easy way usually, like there's no quick formulas there, so it requires some intelligence and some maturity. But we should be aware of it, and if you try, like Krishna will give some intelligence how to do it and how to, I was talking to some devotees this week, and I just wanted to share these thoughts. So, there's some questions, comments. We have a microphone somewhere. It's there.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for lecture. When you talk about this verse, very confidential knowledge, you motivate me to think. So maybe we can expand with the thoughts if we have minutes or two. So when I read this verse, I start really to think what that means, and maybe example that can be given when you there is a many language, in the world. So something can be written down in some language which you don't understand, but it's written very clearly for somebody who understands this language. Is very clear for him. So it is the same example in the spiritual science. So everything is clear actually, but there is a qualification for the person who reads or see this science. So we need to get some qualification. For example, for this person, they need to learn this language. So we need to expand our consciousness to understand this confidential knowledge. So this is some thoughts on this topic, which may be interesting for somebody.
Yeah.
So qualification is in Shastras, what we need to give in a manner of practice, in a manner of faith, to understand actually this science.
Yeah, and that's different stagings of. You can have different views on this. You can have theoretical knowledge, and you can have applied knowledge. Sometimes you see some people, they can quote the verses, they can quote like anything, this, that, and then you see. But then, if you really understand how do you apply this, how do we integrate this, then this is even more important, because you can say yes, you can quote some verses. You can teach a parrot. But usually how it comes, it's this realization. It comes by mercy. It's direct, it's indirect. This mercy of the devotees. This is very this experience. You have also in Sankirtan or some other things. Because in Sankirtan they say your sadhana has to be strong, serious, and sincere. We heard this many times, and which is true. Yes, of course, you have to wake up in the morning and chant 16 good rounds. You just chant in one sit, and sometimes you do that, and you're like, okay. And sometimes you don't do any of this, and somehow you get the mercy of some devotees, and you're flying. You're like, oh my God. So this is, this is my realization. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting somehow or other, like Srila Goswami says, getting the mercy of the devotees, of senior devotees. get this somehow. Such. And then you can understand this confidential knowledge. And of course, it's not like I said before. It's not black and white. It's not you understand or you don't understand. You understand a bit more. I think it's so Prabhupada sometimes gives this example with Prabhupada, this disciple who went to Prabhupada and he said, "Thank you, Prabhupada. I was in Maya." Prabhupada looked at him and said, "You're always in Maya, just you're a bit more out of Maya." So it's gradual process.
Mada Prabhu ki jai. Slušam, znaš, kako treba da je to nismo dobro. U ruku. To je što baš dobro. Sam vidio da je
samo ali dobro, ISKCON je malo. Često se dogodi da možda nije istinski učenje. Puni potencijal da izvučeš iz toga.
Da, kad ideš studenti po srednji školi u faks, parti i socijalni život i samo da ide na faks. Ja znam da sam više.
Care bolj tudi imaš kapera ali videla čeka.
Kako se ne učeti, ja i nešto.
Poraža.
Čekaj, to je sljedeći petaš. Ja sam 15. Ovo je bhakti-joga angažirati.
Treći mjesec sam bio
Zdaj se ako si
Ne, pa to je
i tu kući.
hare-krishna-ljubljana, kako se sjećam.
Da, anyway, taki duhovni
na inspiraciju bhakti-joga, njegov problem sam vijek na hošetnice da ja branches obranke Yoga je Krishna, face,
C'è bella cosa, Anđena,
tu spavate? Za radičak.
Pa nisam nikad
Nisam čim. Trebam isto, vozim u celje sad jedin sam.
Inače ti se
Da, atunci nu sunt eu. Și niciun caz nu e până aici ca să-i dau o pasă.
Și jos să vizăm că el e hai cu
Da, dar nu știu dacă chestiile astea n-ar trebui să fie pentru toată anul școală.
Namučio sam graditeljstvo. Da. A to ne gledam, pa nisam s nikim. Jel se on se oženio?
Ne.
Nije. Dobro.
Ima puno lekcija, mislim.
Da, znam, da.
Kod se u Sloveniji pari. Mislim da je to
Da, bio je nedavno.
Ja.
Sam napisao, nisam uspio sam biti tamo. Ništa.
Okej.
Ajde, vidimo se.
Super.
Ja, jutra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Foarte Slovenia. Și nu sună. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.